So what I do for the organisation is I look after everything to do with IT, whether that be a system, whether it be a process, whether it be onboarding and offboarding. I manage a team of 5, so we've got 4 technicians and then 1 specialist who looks after our CRM. So CRM is a customer relationship management portal, if I'm not so wrong. But also it includes our financial planning, budgeting, and a wide range of tools. So I've been with the organisation nearly 4 years. We've got Reese, who's also been along the journey with me. So when I joined, he was one of my first hires, and then we went down the apprenticeship route, which is really interesting. So the apprenticeship route, which Luca might be something you want to look at moving forward, is a really good scheme as an introduction to the world of IT. So the people that we employ, so we've had 3 apprentices. They've never worked in IT before. They've never had a proper full commercial job. They've come straight out of school, and then we train them. We train them on IT in various systems, and they go through the world in a corporate world and pick up really good skills that can be tangible across a wide range of sectors. One of the biggest things in IT that is important is you need to be a people person. So people normally only contact you when they're having their worst days because something's gone wrong. And so rather than being let's fix it, move on, happy days, you've got to act as a bit of a mentor, as a bit of an ear to listen and understand and empathise with them. So you can say, okay, I understand that you're unhappy, that X, Y, Z isn't working, let's fix that together and get you back working. So my role in all of that is making sure that we've got the policies and the tools and the procedures in place to deliver those services. So as you go through your day, you'll be exposed to various different people, and they all use technology in a slightly different way. Adam Elliott, for example, will use his laptop for different purposes and for different reasons than say Matt would, or that Tony Summers would. So it's making sure that we've got everything in place to accommodate all these working styles. And one of the biggest things that we're doing at the moment, and you're probably aware of this being in an education setting, is security and making sure your data is safe. So one of the worst things that could happen is us as Socitm or your school or whoever loses some data, and you'll probably be exposed to it on the news. I've got notification this morning that a group of schools in Bedford had a major breach, and a list of student names was shared publicly. So one of the key roles I play is to make sure that data is safe and can't escape. So when we talk about data, we talk about IP. Now, IP is intellectual property. Now, intellectual property is stuff that we own, it's ours. Likewise with your computers or with your phones, they are yours. They're your intellectual property, and you wouldn't want anything on them to be out in the world. So we spend a lot of time, money, and collaborative working to make sure that's safe. And then what the lads do out the back is they'll pick up the phone and say, how can we help you? How can we fix your issues? How can we make sure you're working safely? How can we make sure you're working effectively? Because it's all well and good having all these fancy tools and laptops and software and all that. And if you don't know how to use it, it's a useless tool. So we also train staff on how to use those tools and technologies. When you meet various people around the business, you'll notice we've got a couple of different types of laptops. Matt is one of the OGs. He's got one of the HP laptops. That's one of the original laptops we brought. And then you might see some Dell laptops floating around for hours. Now, when you look at hardware, you have to do a bit of a comparison to say, well, what are we going to use it for? What features are required by our staff, and how is that cost effective? So, for example, Matt's laptop will fold all the way over, so it's a tablet and it's touch screen at the same time, which is fantastic. But do we really need those features? Is it a requirement? So, I can't imagine Matt's ever folded his laptop fully over to use it as a tablet, but I know some people do religiously. So there's that. Then there comes the fun side of it, which is, Matt's got a remarkable tablet to take notes. We've got some people with iPads and Apple devices. And that's the fun stuff, you know, playing with different types of technology and equipment to understand the needs of the business. So if you speak to Russ Charlesworth or Tony Summers, they both have iPads, and we look at apps that may be useful for them that we could use elsewhere, and things like that. And then we get to buy the fancy cases and the styluses and the Apple pencils and all the fun stuff that comes with it. But IT isn't always fun. So that's why I think the apprenticeship route is a good avenue to investigate, because you start off at a point and then you gradually grow. Tyler, who joined us a couple of years ago, he came in never working in an IT environment. He never been in a corporate, so in an office before. And he's joined us and now is our team leader for our support team. So has gone on quite a journey in a very short space of time. It just shows the value to it. And you get paid whilst learning, and who doesn't like that? So yeah, there's lots of benefits to it. Luca, what sort of stuff do you help out with at school in regards to IT?
Well, it's mainly when pupils or teachers are struggling with their technology, I try and help them.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. And Oliver, your Matt has kept me updated with your gaming PC and has asked for advice and guidance. How's that coming along? Did you do the upgrade to a solid state drive?
I'm not 100% sure actually. We haven't. We need to fix one of the screens because it doesn't turn on for some reason. Okay. But that is getting completed in due course.
Very good.
With exams, we've got much bigger things on our minds.
God, you sound just like it. That is amazing.
I just listened to that and thought, oh God, he sounds like me.
Yeah, exactly right. Wow, that's brilliant. So, how are you getting on with your exams? Are you finding, is there a lot of online material you can be learning from?
Yeah, I think also Luca can say the same. There's a lot of apps that we use for like Latin and French.
Oh, very good.
Yeah.
Very good.
Especially websites like BBC Bite Size for like every subject.
Yeah. BBC Bite Size was, this is going to make me sound old and young at the same time. It was just in its infancy when I was at school, and we used it religiously. It had so many bits on it, bite-sized nuggets of information which were easy to digest. Oh, that's very, very good. Any questions? Any burning desires you want to know the answers to?
I mean, I have one.
Okay.
So, how has like technology development developed the company or helped the company work?
That's a fantastic question, as if you rehearsed it. So if I think back to when we started, very, very good question. When I started the organisation, we had quite a lot of applications. We had Gold Vision, we had ExecView, we had obviously Microsoft, which was very new to us back then. We had only just started the transition. And if I look back then, there was a lot of uncertainty, a lot of places of duplication. That was the biggest thing. You'd have to do the same job in quite a few different places. And so if I look at the system now, you can go into one place and do everything that you need to. So we have two core applications that people rely on. Microsoft, which is Teams and Word and PowerPoint, and then we've got NetSuite. Those are our two core applications, and it just works. Whereas if you'd asked me this question 4 years ago, we had about 4 or 5 different applications, so that it's streamlined processes. It's taken, it's given people more time to focus on their actual doing jobs rather than the let's keep stuff up to date jobs, which, as you well know, I don't know if you have homework diaries or anything like that. Keeping that up to date can sometimes be a nightmare, but doing the homework's fine. So it transitioned us to make us more effective. It's made our jobs easier And from an IT perspective, it's made it easier for us to support the wider community because everyone uses the same technology. Everyone uses the same type of laptop, computer, the same software, same licenses. So for us, it's nice and easy. And then for our staff, it's nice and easy because they don't have to keep clicking in between different places. But Luca, that's actually a brilliant question. You're going to go far. You will go far. I'm actually might have to watch out for my job if you do put your application in for an apprentice. Very good.
Thank you.
Good.
Anything else, Oliver? Do you have any burning questions?
No, I don't think so. I think you explained that really well.
Thank you very much.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah, sure. Go for it.
You know, obviously, you and I have worked together so much, and I get the real feeling of the passion that you've got for the job. I guess it would be interesting for you know, Oliver and Luca at the sort of the start of their careers, as it were. What sort of fuels that passion? What do you get out of the job, as it were? Why do you do it?
So, what started my life off in IT? I actually broke my home computer. Now, when I was a child, there was a big red switch at the back of the PC that would change the power voltage from 240 UK, 110 European. I flipped the switch thinking it was something completely different, popped the power supply, a little puff of smoke, and I was in big trouble because it was our own computer. And back then, computers were expensive. So, but what sparked my curiosity was, well, how can I fix that? How can I resolve that issue? So I fixed it, and that started my career off. So I started off as an apprentice. And what drives me is helping people overcome issues. So I look at, and you know, Matt's seen this in the work that we do together. Someone will say, I really need to create a really intuitive presentation for a customer. So we work with the wider business and we look at what tools are available. And that's what makes me do my job, is the helping and enabling of our staff to deliver effectiveness. So I've worked in education, and what fueled me in the education arena was that I wasn't just doing IT to make money. I was doing IT to enable students to have access to high quality platforms that would make their learning really easy, but make teaching just as simple. Likewise, you take that vision and bring it here. I want to provide an IT system that's easy to use and makes people effective at their job. And when I can see that by looking at reports and having feedback from people, that's what drives me. Yeah. If you've got that ambition to help people, that's the seed. Helping people and enabling people to do things better. Although you've got to take that being better thing a bit with a pinch of salt, because some people might take that as an insult. Oh man, by the way, I can help you do your job better. Some people might not take that too well, but you craft the discussion in a way that you say, well, have you considered doing it in this way? So you know, be very careful with your wording. But yeah, as long as you have the ability and the passion to help people, you'll go well in IT, because that's most of what we do. Is we're people.